How's it going, boys and girls? Data here, and welcome back to the Minnesota Wild franchise mode, episode 28, here in the second half of the 2026-2027 regular season. In the last one, we kicked it off with quite a bang. 35, 17, and 6 is the record through the first half of the season. We went through the first 58 games, more than the first half, I would say, coming up to the trade deadline. Kirill Kaprizov has been carrying us as usual. The new captain has 45 goals in 58 games. Matthew Boldy with the secondary scoring. Marco Rossi, the reincarnation of Adam Oates, and so on and so forth. However, the lineup did leave us with some questions heading into the trade deadline, as we've been here before. We've seen good teams that have just not performed in the playoffs. They don't have the depth scoring, and they don't have the poise. So some of the scary kind of things that we were thinking about last episode were, is this bottom six kind of good enough? Overall wise and chemistry wise, looks amazing. But what's killing me here is even on the second line here, we have Russ Griffin, 88 overall. Went through so much trouble to get him. 33 points in 58 games. It's okay. He's only a +5. He has 44 penalty minutes with 90 discipline, so that's a scam. You have Sven Sjogren, medium elite, 85 overall, with 99 stick checking, 99 passing, 93 wrist shot accuracy, 99 acceleration, 99 aggressiveness, so many 99s, yet he has 30 points in 58 games and 44 penalty minutes, despite the 98 discipline. So once again, that's a scam, proving that the discipline rating pretty much means nothing. Aside from that, yeah, Brad Lambert, 8 goals, 25 assists with that low franchise potential, 85 overall. Again, 97 discipline, but 32 penalty minutes. So pretty much all that to say, a lot of people are not performing up to snuff. But we still have a good record because the defense has been extremely strong. Our goaltending has been exceptional with the rookie tandem. Crazy numbers from Maxim Morozov especially, and Kozevnikov is doing quite well himself. Healthy scratches are solid. There was a campaign in the last one to make sure Zach Hyman stays in the lineup. Martin Kaut got some ice time. 2 goals, 7 assists in 27 games, but Zach Hyman, they played together for a little bit. But Hyman with 7 goals, 7 assists in 43 games, he is the people's favorite. Old Man Sports leaving a comment on the YouTube saying, Hyman or we riot. There was a petition in the Discord server to get Hyman in over Kaut. And Old Man Sports doubling down in the Discord saying, I just don't want to hear any EA voodoo sob stories when the Messiah is sitting in the press box. So I think that's enough to sell me. The fans want him. They're calling into the radio shows. Zach Hyman will be in over Martin Kaut. But now the question is, will he be in over someone that we may trade for here at the upcoming deadline? So we'll go ahead and dive into the rest of the comments for what we should be doing heading into the trade deadline and end of the regular season. Also making note that you should stay tuned to the absolute end of this video, as I'll be making a little bit of a mini announcement and asking you to vote on an upcoming series that I think will be a ton of fun. So make sure you stick around for that. Now into YouTube here. Apo, great video once again. Thank you very much, Apo. For a suggestion, I would think about trying to sign Jonathan Marchessault from Detroit. Put up great numbers, and he could bring that offensive threat to the fourth line. Otherwise, the team looks good. So what Apo is suggesting here is that we saw Jonathan Marchessault on the trade block from Detroit at the end of last episode. Yet, when we go to their trade block now, there's just no one there. So I suppose that's kind of like a glitch where players are on the block, you exit franchise mode, you come back, they're no longer on the block. But it does make sense that Marchessault shouldn't be on the block because the Wings are a winning team. So it makes sense. It would have been nice to get Marchessault for that fourth line, but it makes sense that Detroit wants to keep him. Especially considering here with 29 goals and 26 assists in 56 games, despite the expiring deal, I think it makes a lot of sense that they want to keep him. And aside from wanting to trade for certain players, we were thinking about trading away our own. Kevin Fiala has not been playing all season. He just has been going down in overall, hasn't been performing well, so he's just been pretty much buried in the minors on an expiring contract. So at the very least, I believe that he should be moved before he just becomes a UFA. The other question was, do we trade Klim Kostin, also on an expiring deal? It's sad that he's getting buried on the fourth line, but that's just how, unfortunately, it's had to be with the talent that we've had in the lineup. But long term, I don't know if there's a spot for him. We have Rodin, we have Crooks, both wanting to come up from the AHL. and even Alex Kovanov's on an expiring deal. There was some discussion of Matthew Tkachuk, actually, a really good comment here, left by Luna Kane. With all the talk of moving Greenway or Kostin, I'm not sure how the other power forward is avoiding the trade talk. Tkachuk is making $8.44 million to somehow have 44 points on a line with a guy who has 45 goals. His plus-minus is insane, for sure, plus 32 as you could see, but how much does that have to do with playing with Kaprizov? It's probably too bold a move to make at the deadline, but moving on from Tkachuk for a bona fide first-liner in the offseason, while keeping Greenway and Kostin is probably the best option. It's also unfortunate, but it seems that when Lambert went from low franchise, it really stunted his growth. Packaging Lambert and Tkachuk for a top-tier talent is definitely a viable option. So I definitely like this option, not for the trade deadline, but for the upcoming draft. If Matthew Tkachuk could be packaged with Brad Lambert, even just Matthew Tkachuk alone, trading them allows for us to get a new first-line power forward. It allows for Sven Sjogren or Greenway to move from the third line to the second line, and it allows Klim Kostin to come out of the fourth line and go on to the third line. So I'm not opposed to this trade idea at all. It might be too big of a splash, I think, and I do agree for the trade deadline. We're a winning team, and we're going to trade 2 players in our top 6. Brad Lambert on that huge extension, he has not been living up to it. But with all that trade value, we could possibly go out and get someone we thought we could never get, which, I'm thinking Dylan Cousins perhaps. Or we'll do more of our research after the playoffs in a couple episodes. But just to say that it's definitely an idea that we're keeping in mind, and that idea makes me want to therefore hang on to Klim Kostin. He has been pretty solid ever since he's gotten here. He played 29 games when he came as a free agent acquisition, scored 21 goals in a full 82-game season, and he's on pace to even break that, playing as a fourth liner right now. So he is just, and he fits the line so well. He would be great on the third line, could help get that +5. The more I think about it, the more I want to keep Klim Kostin and just end up moving Kevin Fiala instead. Hoot Hoot Boy says, few things that picked my eye. Lehkonen from the Flyers looks like a great rental player. Even if the schemes don't fit well, he could be a great player to get some extra scoring on the fourth line, and he's really cheap. Ovi would be great, but he's really overused. I 100% agree with that. The Kostin and Fiala deal to the Rangers seems like a good return, and we could possibly even get more if we retain salary. We'll see if we can maybe swing it just with Fiala. Not totally sure about that. Choosing between Kovanov and Patrick, Nolan Patrick also on the block on the Flyers, comes down to can we retain salary and how much future do we have to give up to get him. Also, my track record is horrible with Brad Lambert, so I'm just going to say that he'll play really badly in the playoffs and for the rest of the regular season. Fantastic. So a little reverse psychology for Brad Lambert. So Nolan Patrick on the block. We were thinking about picking him up for third-line center and having the Flyers retain salary so that he could be a long-term pickup for us. 87 overall, fits the third line. Seems like a match made in heaven. However, if we give Fiala, Kostin, like 2 first-round picks, I think even Mikhail Sergachev, it would not go through. I was just having fun with it. I was putting as much value as I could into the deal. They do not want to retain salary no matter what. So we could get Patrick relatively cheap, straight up. But if we want the Flyers to retain even $2 million, they are totally unwilling whatsoever. So Nolan Patrick, retain salary is impossible. We could pick him up as the third-line center, making his full $6.905 million deal, but that's pretty expensive to commit to for the next 4 seasons after this one. So I think Nolan Patrick is unfortunately out of the question. I know a lot of comments coming up make mention of him, but I think I'll just put it to bed right now that Nolan Patrick will not be able to come over. We could look at getting Phil Danault as a replacement for Kovanov as well, but at that point, a 33-year-old, I'm happier with Kovanov. Patrick made sense because he was young and he had so much overall and potential and line fit. But now it's a different story. Arturi Lehkonen, however, 84 overall, expiring deal, 26 points on the season. He has, 86 points. That's pretty solid heading into the playoffs. 4-star shooting. He's a fantastic skater. More of a two-way forward than a sniper, kind of like a hybrid in the real world. Doesn't fit any of the lines, but we're not really looking for +3s and 5s on the fourth line anyways. So playing him with Taze and Kostin on that fourth line could be very interesting. But, unfortunately it does bump Zach Hyman into the 13th forward position, which may end up giving me some riots on my hands, unfortunately. So just for Arturi Lehkonen straight up, it wouldn't cost too much. I like the idea of doing this. It's a pretty solid depth acquisition that's low value and high overall. We could probably trade one of these kind of unsigned prospects to make it happen with like a low pick, or we could try doing Kevin Fiala straight up. That would lose us the trade value capital of Kevin Fiala. It makes sense that the Flyers want to do this as a losing team. We were thinking about the deal from the New York Rangers that would give us Nordquist, I believe was his name, the rookie skater on the block here. Yeah, Nordquist, Marcus Nordquist, 75 overall sniper centerman. So if we wanted to just get Fiala for him, it would take some picks, or we can try and make even both happen, which I don't think would be crazy either. The Rangers are a winning team, so they would actually want to take on Fiala, as opposed to the Flyers who may not want to take that risk. So I think Fiala for Nordquist would probably be the better idea. And then we see what we can do to try and pick up Arturi Lehkonen as well. There were some other good options for us, like Anthony Duclair, I believe, on the San Jose Sharks. Right here, he's also an 84 overall, and he's on an expiring deal, and he has way less trade value. So, that's interesting. I didn't realize his line fit and his trade value was so much lower than Arturi Lehkonen's. 90 offensive awareness, 83 poise. Actually, I think Anthony Duclair might be the move over Arturi Lehkonen just due to his low trade value and his possible better line fit that could maintain a +1. So keep that in mind as we wrap up the YouTube comments here. Dylan saying it never hurts to get more picks if you have too many good players. So Kostin and Fiala, we can try to get Nolan Patrick and anything else. Unfortunately, that doesn't work. See who sticks on defense. Whoever doesn't, you can trade and then make room for Demetrius Correa, who definitely needs to be getting called up next season or moved. He can't be staying in the minors forever. All in all, good episode data. Thank you very much, Dylan. And now we hop over to the Discord server. Starting off with Narf's notes. Go ahead and trademark that. Love most of what's been happening this season except Griffin. Really don't like what he has brought to the table at all this season. That being said, here's some things to think about. Number one, we need to trade Fiala and maybe Kostin now. I would look at Charlie Coyle as long as his poise is high. We need better poise in our lineup for the playoffs. I would also look at DeBrusk for the playoff run, as he almost always sims well in the playoffs. So I'll quickly say DeBrusk does not work, unfortunately, because I think he has 4, if not 5 years left on his contract, so that'll just be way too much to take on. But Charlie Coyle could be a possibility on Calgary. Yeah, over on the Calgary Flames. 81 overall, 34 years of age, a little more trade value. 7 points in 21 games. He has 80 poise, expiring deal, fits the third line but wouldn't be playing there. So not bad at all with the 80 poise, but if we're really looking at someone to boost the lineup, it's like not solely for poise, but we're really focusing on poise, especially between Duclair, Coyle, and Lehkonen. He does have 3 more poise, Anthony Duclair does, and he does have more of a scoring touch. He's listed as a second-line forward even, so more than a scoring touch, he just has more, I guess, scoring ability, which makes me lean more to his way than Lehkonen's or Coyle. Couple that with his extremely low trade value and the Sharks' desire to trade him with them being a losing team, I find that makes a lot of sense. Number 2, those are all the moves I can think of for sure, unless we want to get a better second-line center to give us more than Griffin. Hey, I'm not opposed to it. Not yet, but I'm not opposed to it down the road. Number 3, for Tarky, I would do a sign and trade in the offseason and then bring up Correa. He needs to be in the NHL next year, and it won't cost as much. That way, Botter can be in the top 4. Definitely a possibility. Tarky needs to be signed either way, whether we move him or not. 4, trade Griffin in the offseason. I'm done with this guy unless he shows up in the playoffs. So he still has a chance to demonstrate that he has some passion maybe with that bad attitude. Narf likes the defense, would say no to any trades unless something amazing came by. Need to do more for the playoffs, and he thinks that veteran poise is what is needed. Go wild. So hard for an Avs fan to say. Appreciate it, Narf. Hold my sell. If you can, try to get the Carolina medium elite player, but if you can't, then give up. So there was a player on the trade block over for the Hurricanes that we were thinking about on Discord. We were discussing it, sending some pictures back and forth. Svensson here. Is it Torsten? Yeah, Torsten Svensson. 77 overall, left-right wing sniper. I did try to make it happen. It's just too much trade value. It's not going to happen, unfortunately. It would take Fiala, Kostin, Eklund, a second-round pick, and even then it wouldn't be even close, unfortunately. So as nice as it is to see a good prospect on the block like that, just a little bit a little too much value for us right now. Decor is good. Fiala as a Wild fan, I love him, but you guys don't in the game, so I guess he has to go. Try to get a +3 or 5 on line 2. It's hard with the two-way forward, that's why with Griffin. Otherwise, that's all I have to say. Go Wild, sub to Data, and join the Discord server, or you guys are missing out. Heart you, Data. Heart you, hold my cell. Much appreciated. Hef's comment, also starting off the Nolan Patrick idea. Unfortunately, that doesn't work as much, even if Kovanov and Korea were packaged. Good idea thinking about the package Korea, but it still wouldn't work out. Thoughts on Sergachev? If I remember correctly, he's on an expiring deal. No, he is actually on year number 1 of his $8+ million extension, so he's not expiring right now. He still could be used in a deal for Nolan Patrick, but it would be just a wild overpayment. Sergachev, Kostin, Fiala, draft pick prospect, just to have him retained $2 million for the next 4 seasons. Regardless of how you structure the trades, you've got to get rid of Kostin if you're going to get Patrick. Otherwise, we'd be flooded. Definitely makes sense. Thank you, Hef. Unfortunately, the Patrick stuff just doesn't work out, but it makes a lot of sense in a perfect world. And last comment coming from Hobbsy. I like the Patrick idea if you can swing it. Unfortunate. I know a lot of people are going to be hurting on that one. Although everyone's talking about moving Fiala or Kostin or Tarky or Botter or this guy or that guy, the team's doing fairly well at the moment, 35, 17, and 6. Yes, Kostin is obviously too good for the 4th line, but I don't see a reason to make those moves now, as it would take away from the depth, except for Fiala as he's not playing. Marchessault unfortunately doesn't work either, but where is the Crosby love? In my opinion, it doesn't matter if Crosby plays or not. We get him, and if he sits as a scratch, I don't see it as a big deal. We get Crosby another cup. So Sidney Crosby was on the block, I believe, for the Devils? Yeah, here he is. 78 overall, 39-year-old Sidney Crosby, 97 poise, 86 offensive awareness. Still, 18 points in 35 games, not bad at the age of 39. Doesn't have any line fits. So, we'd have quite a bit of depth, and it would be something to say, let's get another cup for Sidney Crosby. He's on a losing team. So, if we were to get Crosby and get Anthony Duclair slots in on the 4th line. We do get center depth in Sidney Crosby, because right now we have no center depth for injuries. If we get an injury at center, Taze, Kovanov, let's say, for example, one or the other can move. Well, let's say it's anyone in the top 9. Taze can move up. But then who goes center on the 4th line? Kostin, 73 faceoffs. Hyman, 76 faceoffs, but it's not ideal. It would be great if we could have someone who's really good at the faceoffs, especially in that 4th line role. So Crosby would pretty much be getting traded to this team just to come in at center if something should happen to a centerman, because if anything happens to a winger, it's Zach Hyman coming in. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger on these deals. It makes sense. We're getting close to the deadline. I want to make it now before another team swoops in and does it before me. So I have like 3 deals in mind here. Sorry, we got to go to Skaters match in the block. First, we start off with Anthony Duclair. I know Kadri was also suggested, but he has a little bit more value and a lower overall and a higher age. So it's interesting that Duclair has such low value. I'm not sure why, but I will take advantage of that. They don't want any draft picks. I would assume that they want some prospects, yes. So they don't even really want prospects, but I'm going to make them want prospects because that's what they should want. I'll give them Steven Takashi, two-way D, who we drafted in the 7th round, absolute last pick of the 7th round, I believe, in 2026. He was never going to become anything. That's why you scout, my friends. This is why you scout. You get good prospects late who can help you make deals, not trading 3rd-round picks and signing free agents and then just flipping them in September. It feels much more legit like this. I did the work, I did the drafting, and now I get to trade that player if I so choose. We would be over the contract limit, though, so I'll have to trade someone down in Iowa. So who's not playing at all? I don't think Novak's playing. Medium top 9. Is he on an expiring deal as well? Yeah, I think it's time to trade Novak. I know he has medium top 9 potential. It'll make even more sense for the Sharks to do this deal. Just, he's not really having much space or finding much space in Iowa. So, I don't know, can I get a 4th and a 5th out of this as well? What do you say, San Jose? And they would do this. Beautiful. So, let's see what else can we get. Would you give me a 3rd? You would give me a 3rd. My picks for this season are pretty solid. Would you give me a 3rd and a 4th in 2028? Okay, so I won't milk it any more than that. So Takashi and Novak going to the San Jose Sharks for Anthony Duclair and a 3rd and a 4th round pick. I guess they like these prospects. I don't want to milk it for another fifth or something. I know this is already milking it too much, but I guess they're desperate to get rid of Duclair and they really want prospects. So thank you very much, San Jose. I almost feel guilty saying yes. I probably could have gotten a second round pick, but you know what? Again, like I said, I wasn't down to take a good player and a really high pick. I guess they really hated Anthony Duclair and were desperate to get rid of him. So, hey, thanks, San Jose. I'll take the third and the fourth next season. This year, we already have 2/3 and like 4/4. So I'm happy to get a little bit more draft capital next season. Now we have 3/3 and 3/4. Lovely. Next, over to the New Jersey Devils to see if we can get Sidney Crosby another Stanley Cup. There was a good comment from Andrew on the Ottawa Senators franchise mode saying that he doesn't like how YouTubers always go after Crosby or Ovechkin or Malkin, and I could not agree more. That when you just go after these players who you know will sim well, it just takes the fun out of it. In Ottawa, when we got Alex Ovechkin, it made sense from a story-wise perspective because we waited a week into free agency. Nobody wanted him. The story made sense. Come to Ottawa, be the captain, blah, blah, blah. So that is when I'm able to get on board, when it makes sense for the story. Here's another point where it makes sense for the story. The Devils are a losing team. Crosby's about to retire, most likely. He's on the block. He won't be our second-line center breaking the sim system. He's just going to be a depth centerman for us to switch around with Taze if needed or any other centerman. This is when the story makes sense, and I don't appreciate when people just go after build a team with Sagan and Ovechkin on your first line, Malkin as your first line or something, because you know that they'll sim so well. I appreciate more creativity than that. So yeah, all that to say that the reason we're going after Crosby is more for the story. Try to get him that cup before he retires, and that is it. Okay, let's see. Does Duclair have an extension hiding there or something? We could trade Guskov here. He hasn't. Yeah, he is also a real Minnesota Wild 2019 5th-round pick. Not going to be keeping him. So I think this is a good deal for the Devils. 4th-round pick. Trade rejected. Woefully insufficient. My apologies. Could I offer you a 4th and a 6th, perhaps? Still too far off. How about I add a 5th in 2028? There you go. That's a nice deal for you. I doubt anybody will think New Jersey came out in the short end. It's a done deal. Okay, thank you very much. So to call up Duclair and then recall up Taze because he got sent down, I have to send Axel Anderson and Martin Kaut through waivers. I think I'm okay with this. Losing either, I don't see either of them coming back next season. Maybe Axel Anderson for Iowa. So if we lose either of them, it's just, that's just the way it goes because we have better options, unfortunately. Do they make it through? They do. All right, I'm surprised about Kaut. But they'll be down in Iowa, no problem. That's all taken care of, and now we move to our final deal, which is with the New York Rangers, trying to get Nordquist from them in a deal that gives them Kevin Fiala, who can slot into their lineup and just makes sense for everybody, I find. They want Kevin Fiala. They want to give up this prospect. Now, this is where I'll probably have to trade a pick, but I'm okay trading a 3rd-round pick for a guy who was drafted in the 1st round. So if I give you my 3rd and Kevin Fiala, how close do we get? Trade accepted. Lovely. Thank you, New York. So Kevin Fiala, I wish you all the best. An original Minnesota Wild here. Let me just fix the lines. There we go. Put them back where they go. So Kevin Fiala, an original Minnesota Wild player. He was a 3rd liner who moved up to be a 2nd liner. He was an 86 overall at one point with a +3, maybe even a +5 in sometimes. So we gave him every opportunity, but just he didn't show up when he was needed. Aside from that the last postseason he did show up, but dropping to an 84 overall was, despite the 12 points in the 17 games, which was nice, he didn't do much since his Stanley Cup championship of 19 points in 24 games. Yeah, 5 and 7 is nice, but then look at 4 and 13, 5 and 13. Got a bit better at 10 and 12 and 13 and 17, but it was the regular season stats. To be a 2nd-line sniper, 86 overall, and never get more than 20 goals, that was a bit, disappointing, especially that 42-point season. So I wish you all the best over in New York, Kevin, and I'm sure that we will see you soon. So with all of that taken care of, unfortunately, we do need to switch out Zach Hyman here. I want to get Anthony Duclair in the lineup. I really hope it's not a -1. Yes, it should be a +1, and it is, because you have a sniper, power forward, two-way, which can be a little scary, but they have great line fits. Duclair, good line fit for him. He could probably get a +1 on this. Yeah, it gets that on the 2nd line too. Klim Kostin can move to the right wing. And then Jonathan Toews stays center. In theory, if we did put Sidney Crosby at center on the third line, it would still, on the fourth line, it would still keep a +1. So that is very nice for us. But Jonathan Toews is our guy here. He came here last season, put on a show in the playoffs, leading this team with 14 points in 17 games. I can't wait to see what he does this season in the playoffs. But for now, it's not time for the playoffs yet. It's time to finish off the regular season. We are, as of February 12th, we are 35, 17, and 6. Anthony Duclair is in the lineup. Hyman's in the press box. Unfortunately for now, so is Sidney Crosby. And we're ready to move into hopefully what will be, how close are we in the Central? Yeah, it could be a good divisional fight with the Avalanche at the top of the Central. So let's check out this first game with this new lineup at the XL Energy Center against the Boston Bruins. First period, 2-0 right off the bat. Kaprizov and Marco Rossi, that first line. Rossi's like 7th goal of the season with all those apples. 2 past former Wild Elvis Merzlikins. Second period, 3-2. Blatney scores to come within 1. Matthew Tkachuk heard those trade rumors and says, I want to get this team back ahead by 2. And then Raphael Lavoie brings the Bruins within 1 shot. 16-15 Boston, but 3-2 Wild, headed into the third period. Let's see if anyone beyond that first line can do something. Our 3 first liners have all scored. Anthony Beauvillier ties it at 3 now. We need the second, third, fourth lines to come through. The defense, power play for the Wild. No one getting it done there. And then Tarasenko makes it 4-3 as we just have no scoring coming for us. Yeah, that's what we deserve. That's absolutely what we deserve. 3 goals on 23 shots, not bad, but that's what we deserve. Letting in all those shots. 5 goals past Morozov. Goal and 2 assists for Tkachuk. Goal and assist for Rossi. That's a disappointing 5-3 loss right there. And Ego, okay. Whew, thank goodness that's just in the AHL. I'm going to fix up all the AHL lines and we'll be back in the calendar in a moment. All right, that's all taken care of. Let's get some calendar simulation done here. Hopefully that gives us a little bit more voodoo luck. Any games you want to go see in particular? Don't think so. We'll go see the Coyotes on the trade deadline itself. But after that, we'll move into the month of March and see some matches. Matthew Boldy signing that extension that we offered him last episode. And so just to recap that, a beautiful 6-3 win against the Detroit Red Wings. A winning team, mind you. Remember, we just saw that. So that's a hat-trick for Kaprizov. No, that's 2 goals for Kaprizov that last game. Sorry, contracts. Matthew Boldy. So that's a huge weight off our shoulders as we get him signed for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years at $8.525. The man is a machine. He is worth every dollar, I believe, in my opinion, because he just, I know there's that 1 year at 55, but he's consistently 30-plus goals at the very least, which, you know, that we're paying money for the goals. Meanwhile, we have Brad Lambert getting paid just to go to the sauna and do nothing. So he needs to wake up a little bit more if he wants to be making that money longer term. A few more games before the deadline here. Calgary Flames, they have a 22-35-2 record. We squeak out a 3-2 victory against them. Colorado Avalanche, tough divisional matchup. Should have gone to see it probably. 4-3 loss against them. 3-2 loss against the Oilers. And then a 3-1 win. So very tight matchups these last few games. Taking on the Coyotes now, who are 29, 27, and 5. We might have to go through, we have to go through this first. No deals that I want to make, but as always, we'll do our due diligence and enter the trade deadline just to see what's going on. Hanifin, McAvoy, Patrick, Couturier, Scheifele, Beauvillier, Hayton, Turtle, Kyrou, and JT Miller, all on the block. They say that we're interested in Beauvillier, but they don't know what they're talking about, these insiders. So I don't think there's really much to look at. I'm going to let the clock run a little bit, see if anything pops up. But aside from that, I'm not going to be offering any deals myself. I'll give it till around 7, 8 o'clock. I'm not going to sit here for 15 minutes, let the clock run by the entire thing. All right, 15 a.m. here. No trades have come our way. Looking at the trade summary, lots of prospects moving around. The Hurricanes acquired Cody Glass and Nick Hague from the Vegas Golden Knights. The Jets acquired Thomas Hertl from the Flyers. Pierre Engvall going to the Devils. Jake Chychrun going to the Kings from the Vegas Golden Knights. Coleman going to the Capitals. No huge deals in terms of the big names here. Off the market. Ooh, interesting. Off the market. but no big names sold except for a Hurdle, I believe. So I'll go ahead and just exit out of the trade deadline here. Nothing else to see here. No one was calling GM Data's phone, so that's okay. We already made our deals in the last couple of weeks. Checking the rest of the trades here. Sprong going to the Ducks. Hayton going to the Devils from the Coyotes. That's a big one. Vrana and Little going to the Blackhawks from the Capitals. Berge Boulet and Cal Foot switching places there. Okay, interesting deals. Again, the big names did not end up moving. Poor James Duthie in the panel didn't have much to talk about. Well, I guess they had some to talk about. Just all those images they had ready to go never came to be. We're at home against the Arizona Coyotes. We know we have the rivalry against them for that coaching change many moons ago, if you remember that. So we always want to beat the Coyotes, especially on home ice. Alex Kovanov on Dolak, and then Dvorak comes right back. The fans are booing. They're throwing banana peels at Popovich on the opposite bench. They had to put like a canopy over the Coyotes bench to stop the fans from throwing things. First period ends 1-1. Second period now. Kovanov scores his second of the night to put us up 2-1. And then Christian Djoos ties it up. Wenberg 3-2 and Evander Kane 4-2. What's going on with Morozov over here? 4 goals on 19 shots. Yikes. And we're down by 2, being outshot by 3. Third period, we need some heroics. Power play, there we go. Get it started. Matthew Tkachuk on the power play. We're back within 1. That's what we needed to get this party started. 2 from Kovanov, 1 from Tkachuk. I'd love to see a juicy goal from Lambert or Seoland. Okay, Kaprizov, we'll always accept a Captain Kirill goal. This game is tied at 4, under 5 to go. Will we be seeing overtime, or is there a late hero on either side? There is not. Shots are 31-25 for Minnesota, and we will be getting some overtime. I won't hop into it this time, as usually it takes even longer for me to just rage over how broken the game is, as opposed to watching it happen. So let's see if there's any late heroics, some overtime heroics. Minute and a half left now, and with 30 seconds left, nothing. We're headed to a shootout. And in the shootout, we take it 5-4. Kaprizov, and then the winning shootout goal goes to Russ Griffin. We take it. After being down 4-1, we come back and win 5-4. 2 from Kovanov, goal and assist from Tkachuk. That's what we love to see. We're down 4-2 or 4-1? Either way, it's a comeback victory, and we're looking for win number 40 going up against the Nashville Predators now. Let's go see a game here into the month of March. Maybe the Rangers and Kevin Fiala. That would be a good one. The Rangers and Kevin Fiala. Any really good teams before then? The Oilers. Let's see the Oilers, then the Rangers. Get our palates a little bit wet heading into the playoffs. 4-1 loss against the Preds. Can we get win number 40 against the Blues? Let's hope for it. They're 20-36 and something. We lose 6-5. But then, we destroy the Stars 8-2. And then we lose 3-1. Okay. We'll take it. 8-2 win was win number 40 on the season. Pittsburgh Penguins beat us 2-1. And then the San Jose Sharks. Igor Afanaseyev is fully healed, so we'll put him back in. There you go, Igor. San Jose Sharks were 33-32 and whatever. We beat them 2-1 in overtime. These games have been way too close. 41-24-6 is now the record. The Avalanche have pulled away from us for first in the division by quite a bit, and they have games in hand. That's disappointing. Anthony Duclair, what's going on here, Bello? What's with the plus minuses? Let's see it. He has, what? 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points, and a -2 in 13 games. What? Duclair, what is going on? Taze is still looking good, 13-13. Costin, 14-19. You know what? I don't care what your overall is. I don't care what we traded for you. If it's not working, it's not working. Zach Hyman, get in there. Ellington plus 27, 22, 16, 14, 12. Leon Botter at a plus 8 is maybe the most concerning, but I'm going to hope that the fourth line change can do something. Morozov is starting to fall apart a little bit. Kazevnikov's numbers are looking slightly better. I'm going to put him in nets for the next upcoming game here. But aside from that, Griffin's still only a plus 5. Lambert a plus 5. 10-0-3, this third line. I don't know. I wish I had more to say. This lineup should be performing so well, and we are performing well, but it's not. It's been really tight games, tight wins and tight losses recently, which have been scaring me a little bit. So Kazemnikov will get the start against the Oilers. They're 46-20-3. This is a huge matchup. Big playoff implications as well. positional, home ice, all that kind of stuff. So let's see what we can do against Connor McDavid and the Oilers. First period, 1-0. There he is, Sven Sjogren. Thank you very much. 1-0 after the first on Matt Murray. Second period, 2-0. Mika Tarki. Thank you very much. Shots 20-12, and we're up 2-0 here in the third. But the 2-goal lead in hockey, you know what they say about that one. So let's get a third. Or we can just, batten down the hatches. I prefer not to. Power play, big opportunity here. Killed off by the Oilers, and thank you, Jordan Greenway. 3-0, 4-0 Adam Boqvist. The floodgates are open, and that'll be a nice, juicy dub. The Oilers not managing a lot of shots tonight, and that allows Sergei Kozevnikov to get the shutout. 34-14 were the shots. We more than doubled Edmonton's shots. 4-0 the final. How about that for a statement win? Game-winning goal to Sjogren, I guess. Goal and assist for Boqvist. 1 goal for Greenway, and a nice shutout for Kozevnikov. Love to see it. I think we'll keep him in nets for... I'm going to give him the next couple games. I'm going to keep him in nets the next couple games. I'll manage it personally myself here, off screen. Alright, so it was a 3-1 win against Vegas and a 5-3 loss against Ottawa. Tough there against the Senators, but in these 2 games right here, only letting in 1 goal in 120 minutes of play. You love to see that. So the Rangers are 36, 32-6. They're pushing for the playoffs. Kevin Fiala in their lineup. We're 43, 25-6. We're looking for more dubs. We want to keep at least second spot in the division if a run at first is not possible. But still, you never know if the Avalanche start to falter. So let's do it. First period, 0-0. Shots 16-3 for the Rangers. Unacceptable. Let's go, boys. Second period, 2-0. Yes. Kaprizov and Griffin. Let's go. Shots still 23-16 for the Rangers, but we are now up 2-0, headed into the third period. Again, we don't like that 2-goal lead, so make it 3. Russ Griffin against the team that drafted him, the team that he didn't want to sign with, the team that traded him away. He now has 2 goals on the night. 3-0. Make it 4 for the Wild as Tkachuk makes it 4-0. Power play Rangers killed off. Oh my goodness. Don't you dare tell me. It is a 32 save shutout for Sergei Kozevnikov. What a second half of the season he is having. 2 goals from Russ Griffin against his old team, getting a spark lit under him, a little fire, a fire set under him, and Kaprizov with a goal and an assist. So that is huge for Kozevnikov's confidence as well. 4-0 victory, and a good one. Not a 14-save shutout. That's a 32-save shutout. Taking on the St. Louis Blues now, I'm going to give the crease to Kozevnikov once again. Kaprizov 1 goal away from 60. Already has a new career high at 59 at the moment, but he wants even more. Kozevnikov, 917 save percentage and a 2.13 goals against average. Both he and Morozov, I guess, are fighting for the Calder. Could we get 2 goalies with both getting Calder nominations? At the Enterprise Center in St. Louis. Just going to fly through it quickly, but because it seems like the slow sim is helping. First period, 4-1. Wow. Wow. Drouin scores 50 seconds in on the first shot, but then Rossi, Kaprizov, Kostin, and Taze score 4 goals in 12 minutes, especially the 3 goals in 2.5 minutes right here, including Kirill Kaprizov's 60th of the season. Second period, 5-2. Kostin with his second. This guy Johansson scores with 2 seconds left. 3-goal lead for Minnesota. Make it 4-goal lead. Another power play goal. Kaprizov has 61. And we'll finish this one off 8-2 the final. Boldy gets 1, and Kaprizov closes out the hat trick. 2 power play goals for him. 62 on the season. First star honors. 3 goals and an assist. Jonathan Taze, a goal and 3 assists. Love it. And Clint Kostin, 2 goals and an assist. That is the Minnesota Wild I know. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful. Taking on the Dallas Stars now. I think Kozevnikov's going to be keeping the crease. We have clinched the playoffs for sure. We have, 8 games left. We're 10 points back. It's not going to be easy to catch up to the Avalanche. But we do definitely want to hang on to that spot in the division. Kozevnikov's numbers just keep getting better. Morozov wasn't doing terribly, but Kozevnikov has taken this opportunity and run with it. And it seems as though the slow sim is helping. So I'm going to keep going. I'll go fast, but going through the slow sim fast. First period against Dallas, 1-0, Kaprizov on Jake Allen. Second period, 2-0, Jordan Greenway. Shots are 24-20 heading into the third, holding on to this 2-goal lead. And then once again, as I always say, it's a 2-goal lead heading into the third. We might want to, and then someone just says, let me stop you right there. Let me make it 3-0 as Kirill Kaprizov gets what, his 63rd of the season? Oh my goodness, please. You're absolutely kidding me. You are absolutely kidding me. Sergei Kozevnikov gets another shutout in the slow sim. Shots tied 33-33, but we take it 3-0. 33 save shutout for Kozevnikov. Get him in your fantasy lineups. 2 from Kaprizov, 2 assists from Marco Rossi. I cannot believe this. This is insane. What a winning streak this has been. We're 7-3-0 in the last 10. I wouldn't be surprised if we've won 7 in a row, actually. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3. Of course, we had the loss against the Senators. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've won 6 of our last 7. 6, 1, and 0 in our last 7. Oh, wow. And, of course, the games that these were the 2 that we didn't slow sim. The rest were slow sim. So, in slow sim games with Kozevnikov, since we made that switch, he has a shutout, 2 goals against, and a shutout. So in the 3 games, out of 3 of the 4, he's gotten a shutout, and the other he let in 2 goals. Wow. Do we play him? Yeah, I'm going to play him against the Rangers, and then I'll put Morozov in against the Capitals. So we'll give him a night off after taking on the Rangers at Madison Square Garden. Kozevnikov, man, 924 save percentage, 2.00 goals against average right now. 2.00 on the nose. So at Madison Square Garden, Russ Griffin, another opportunity for him to go off against his old team. Kaprizov, 64 goals. I don't know how he's doing it, but the slow sim is helping. First period, 2-1. Lassie Vallon and Matthew Tkachuk, but then Harrison brings the Rangers back within 1. Second period, 3-1. Sven Sjogren, lovely on Jakob Markstrom. Shots are 25-15 for the Rangers, but it is 3-1 for the Wild. Another 2-goal lead heading into the third. Does anybody want to stop me in my tracks and make it a 3-goal lead? Maybe not this time. The shots are not coming very, well, comparatively, not as much as the Rangers, but we are holding them off. Heidel makes it 3-2. It's a 1-goal game now. Can we add some? Oh, nope. What are you doing? Brady Tkachuk on the Rangers, by the way. Who takes this penalty? Botter takes an interference penalty. We're up 3-2. 2:23, and then he scores a... So I don't know why it wasn't a power play goal. Yeah, that's really, really, really weird. That's really weird that he took a penalty. That should bring it until 23 seconds left in the game. No other penalties were taken, and then Brady Tkachuk's goal isn't on the power play. That's probably broken. So poor Kozevnikov putting on a show. He's now allowed 3 goals and 36 shots. Not an issue at all. We're headed into overtime, boys. We got to play for him. We got to show up and score a goal for the goalie, for the rookie between the pipes. Nothing coming. Shots 37-29. They end. In the shootout, we take it 4-3. Thank you very much. Russ Griffin getting the winner, the dagger against his old team. Kaprizov scores, Zibanejad answers, and then Griffin gets the shootout winning goal, and we take it. Magnuson had 3 assists. Heidel had a goal. Tkachuk had a goal. And it's a dub either way. Unfortunately for Kozevnikov, it wasn't a 1-goal game as he was looking to really want to improve those numbers. But hey, he can take a 3-goal on 37-shot game. That's still good for the save percentage. At the XL Energy Center, the Capitals have like the opposite record than us, 27-43-7. We're 47-25-6. This will be a game for Maxim Morozov to get in. And there we go. Morozov can get some action now between the pipes, as we'll just go straight through it actually and get to the game against the Leafs. 3-2 win. Bit of a tight one, but a win nonetheless. Now up against the Leafs at Scotiabank Arena. Kozevnikov back in nets. We're just going to go through them quickly again because it seems like the slow sim is helping. First period 0-0. Second period, scratch that. 5-0 Leafs as they score 5 goals in 1 period. Kozevnikov allows 3 goals in 4 minutes, and then Morozov lets in 2 more to end off the period. Kerfoot, Nylander twice, Nichushkin, and Tavares. We're down 5-0, being outshot 23-13. Let's call this one a day. Kostin scores the lone goal on the power play. Kerfoot gets another, and we lose 6-1 against the Maple Leafs. Oh boy. So I'm going to give Morozov some time, give Kozevnikov the night off after that one. I think there's I think there's 2 games left, so I'll probably give them 1 game apiece just to prove themselves heading to the playoffs, because that's a bit of a question now. Who is the starter in the playoffs with these kinds of performances? So we'll sim through the game against the Kings. They are about a 500 team. We beat them 6-3. Nice. Morozov with a good performance. And then I'll end it off with Kozevnikov between the pipes. I'm not sure which way I'm leaning, but a really strong performance from Kozevnikov could swing it in his favor against the Jets here to end it off. Game 82 of the season. 65 goals so far for Kaprizov. Can we get our 50th win here in our 82nd game of the year? Let's go and end it off with the big 5-0. First period, 2-1 for the Wild. Griffin and then Sergachev on the power play. Ryan Poehling scoring the lone goal for Winnipeg. Second period remains 2-1. Shots 21-13. Fleury scores early. Cale Fleury does. Into the third period to tie this game up at 2. But then Marco Rossi comes right back 3 minutes later, and it's 3-2 Wild, restoring that 1-goal lead. Power play for the Jets now. Extended power play opportunity, and Sjogren scores shorthanded, puts us up by 2. That may just be enough. He's the Game 82 hero here. Shorthanded. Let's go. And Laine scores late on Kozevnikov. So 3 goals on 29 shots against Kozevnikov. But we come away with the 4-3 victory and the 50th win of the season. Rossi a goal and an assist. Sjogren with that shorthanded game-winning goal in the end. And Laine with a goal and an assist. 4-3 the final. And we end off the season 50, 26, and 6. The Avalanche were just too far away to catch. But everyone played their 82nd game? Yes. So that wasn't going to happen, but we did our best, and second in the division is definitely passable. One of our best seasons as well at 50 wins. So it's just the overtime losses that they really had that helped them out in the points category because they only had one more win than us. In the entire NHL, we finished 5th best in the league. Avalanche were number 1 in the division, conference, and league, so it was hard to catch up to them. Well, it's hard to win the division or win the conference when you have the Avalanche above you like that. We were scoring 3.48 per game, allowing 2.54. Our power play, wow, 32.6%, the best in the NHL by far. And long space between third and first place right there. Big difference. 32.6%, amazing to see that. And penalty kill, 83.9%, 4th best penalty kill in the NHL. We will take that. Lovely stuff, nice. Great record on the road, actually, better on the road this season. Looking at the entire league, did the Maple Leafs not make the playoffs here, finishing 14th place? That's really tough to swallow. Yeah, 14th place. And meanwhile, you have the Anaheim Ducks finishing 21st in the NHL, going 37, 37, and 8, finishing 500, making the playoffs. 37, 37, and 8. Meanwhile, the 42, 31, and 9 Maple Leafs do not make the playoffs. That's brutal. And at the bottom of the NHL here, Rangers also didn't make it. Bottom of the NHL, we have the St. Louis Blues who went 23, 48, and 11. Flames, Vegas, Washington, Vancouver all making up the bottom of the NHL. So let's take a look at the scoring this season. Oh my goodness, Kirill Kaprizov, you really outdid yourself. 65 goals and 93 points. Career highs in goals, points, plus minus, shots, shooting percentage, game-winning goals, power play points. Not even a career high on for time on the ice. And just wow. You have outdone yourself, my friend. 65 goals. Definitely setting some records for the Minnesota Wild and breaking the ones that he had set previously. 91 points was his previous career high and 56 goals that he had done twice, 56 and 35. And then he comes out here and goes 65 and 28. Not passing the puck, but that's okay. Just give him the puck and close your eyes and let it happen. And that's exactly what Marco Rossi did with 77 points of his own as he potted 64 assists, new career high in assists, not in points, but in 64 assists and in plus minus as well with a plus 34. Matthew Boldy on that second line, great secondary scoring, 38 goals. Not a career high, as it's not 55, but the second best goal scoring season of his career and the third highest points with 71 in 82. Very happy to take that. Matthew Tkachuk really turned things around. I think he had, 40 points in 60 games or something? Now he ends off the year with 71 and 82. He heard us talking about that draft trade possibility, and he said, let me just show you what I can do. 71 points is a new career high for him. No, 77 is what he did in his third year. So his best since 18-19. So it's been 9 years later. Best season for plus minus and most assists at 47. Yeah. No, not best plus minus 27. Yes, it was. highest assist total, highest plus minus total, and second highest points total at 71. Very good season for Matthew Tkachuk. Now, Adam Boqvist with 64 points. This was huge. Coming from the Hawks, we weren't sure how he simulated. His best season was 49 points. He did that a couple times. He comes here and he blows up, plus 29, 55 assists, even in 77 games played, scoring 64 points. He really took the mantle from Torrey Krug and ran with it. The ball, and took up the mantle, and he took the ball and ran with it. Jordan Greenway, 51 points down in that third line. We love Greenway, longest serving player, second season in a row of 51 points, 38 assists this year. You know, we always wanted to see a bit more from him as he's gone down from that 63 point total that he did get in 23-24, but he's still consistently getting above 50 points, which we can't really complain about, especially on the third line. What I can complain about is Brad Lambert, who scored 45 points in 82 games with power play time and second line minutes. That was very disappointing, and making $8 million, only 9 goals from him. Yeah, last season, as third line center. We've had Lambert this long. This was his third full season. No, this was his fourth full season. I guess he was injured this one. Fourth full season with Brad Lambert, and it's not even it was his highest position in the lineup ever, and it wasn't even his best. He had 51 as a third line center. That's really disappointing. Russ Griffin now. It was his first full season in a season, because he took 25-26 off. Comes back, scores 44 points, better than year 1, better than year 2, not as good as year 3, but still 20 goals, 24 assists. It's decent. It's just not what I would expect from an 88 overall on the second line. So a bit disappointing there. Mikhail Sergachev, 44 points from him. Klim Kostin now, 43 points from the fourth liner and the second power play unit. Is that a career high in points from Klim Kostin? He ties a new career high in points, and he was in his lowest lineup position ever. Meanwhile, you have Brad Lambert doing the opposite. So really impressive from Klim Kostin. Kovanov, 40 points as the third line center, which is a career high as well in his third full season now, and he did it in 8 less games than he played the last couple of years. Nice to see that. Jonathan Toews, 32 points at the age of 38, 78 overall. He has still got it. Great to see from him. Sven Sjogren, disappointing. 15 goals and 27 points in 82 games. Not what we wanted to see from him. It was his rookie season. It was third line. It was third line minutes. But he did have power play. He did have a penalty kill. I would have wanted to see some more from him. 20 plus 12 is okay, but still. Anthony Duclair did almost nothing for us with 2 points in 13 games. He'll be coming off the bench maybe. Mika Tarki, 20 points from him with a plus 19. This was his first year of getting top 4 minutes, and he definitely set new career highs in goals and points. Plus minus the same as year number 1. Leon Botter, 19 points and a plus 9, career high in points, but not his best plus minus season. Third on that third defensive pair. Sidney Crosby did not play at all for us. Lassie Vallon in his rookie season, 8 goals, 10 assists, and a plus 10. Lovely stuff from him. Zach Hyman still, he ended up getting another 3 assists, 7 goals, 10 assists, 17 points in 54 games. Ellington with 11 assists and a plus 35 was great from him on that first pair with Adam Boqvist. Looking at the goaltenders now. Maxim Morozov went 33, 20, and 5 with 4 shutouts, but look at Kozebnikov, 14, 5, and 0. 4 shutouts from him, 919 save percentage, 2.20 goals against average. Both these guys were fighting for the Calder. More Morozov, really, but now I don't know if either of them will win as I kind of split their starts. Caden Primo's also here as third goalie if and when called upon. So that's a question for all of you. Who should be our starting goalie headed into the playoffs? Now let's see the entire NHL. Where does Kirill Kaprizov rank? McDavid winning the Art Ross with 109 points, but I believe Kaprizov does win the Rocket Richard. Cousineau with 62, Engqvist 61, Caulfield 59, Ovi at the age of 41 scores 57, John Foligno here. But Engqvist won 104 points, Eichel 103, Reinhardt 101. So we weren't necessarily up there in the points, but Kaprizov was there in the goals as he wins a Rocket Richard. I'm not sure how many he has. We'll have to check the awards And, yeah, all the usual names as you would expect. Defense, Cale Makar, 76 points for him. Dahlin, 69. Werenski, 65. Boquist down with 64. So, not a Norris Trophy winning season, I would say, necessarily, but still such a solid season from Boquist. Goaltenders, it was Andrei Vasilevsky with the most wins. Best numbers, probably between Murray and Saros. Yeah, Grubauer had good numbers. Trying to look at save percentage plus goals against average. Holtby, decent numbers. Yeah, so for the Vezina, I'd probably say it's going to Saros, Hellebuyck, maybe even, I don't know, Nedeljkovic, sorry, with the 2.48 goals against average. Anyways, rookie skaters now. It was Curtis Martins, who scored 55 points. Rick McKinnon with 35 goals and 54 points. And then goaltenders, you have Kozevnikov and Morozov, both in the conversation. And even this guy, Dustin Hanson. So I'd say it's probably between Morozov and those two goal scorers, those two forwards, who are probably in the Calder conversation. Most assists in the NHL goes to Barzal with 72. Rossi was up there with his 64. And best plus-minus is Ryan Murray with a plus 48. Sheesh. Tied with Draisaitl and Dahlin, actually, but still. Really good plus-minuses from them. Also forgot to mention that over on the New York Rangers, Kevin Fiala got first-line minutes with the Rangers. Offensive line 1, power play 1. Given every opportunity, only scored 1 goal, but also got 10 assists. So 11 points and a negative 10 for Kevin Fiala through 26 games over on the New York Rangers. I'm not sure if there's any other players to really look at aside from also Connor Hellebuyck, who we also skimmed over previously there. He went 39, 16, and 7. Okay numbers, 907 and a 2.57 goals against average over with the Buffalo Sabres. We had some struggles with him in the playoffs. That's why we ended up letting him go with those sub-900 save percentages, but good to see him having some life over on Buffalo. Kaprizov did win the Maurice Richard back in 21-22, so I forget if he won any before that, but this was the second. So 21-22 and 26-27. Not sure if there are any others. I'd have to look back in the archives. Anyways, let's see who we'll be taking on in round number 1 of the playoffs for year number 7. We will be facing the Nashville Predators. Boy, oh boy. We have a history against the Predators. Brad Lambert drafted by the Preds. I'm not sure how many players. I know Ryan Murray, I guess, is no longer on the Predators if he's over on the Red Wings. Is Tristan Jarry still there? Let's see. Looking at the Predators for this round 1 matchup. Lindblom, Foligno, Fisher, classic first line. Hoglander, Sillinger, Forsberg. And it drops off here on the third line a little bit. No, but Phillips and Barbashev are still good. Kevin Hayes, former Wild, with Sundqvist and Steenbergen. Defense, Ulevi, Fabro, Zaitsev, Chiodo, Yossi at the age of 36, and Tobias Bjornfot. Goaltenders, it's Askarov backed up by Jarry. So Jarry was signed in free agency. We didn't trade him to the Predators. Last year was $10 million deal. Scratch Backlund and Grizzly. So no forwards or defense that came in that Lambert deal are still around, I suppose, unless there was some draft pick or something I'm missing. Kevin Hayes signed, Jarry signed, and that's about it. The biggest issue is John Foligno, the sniper, first overall selection in 2023. He is just a monster. 93-point season, really blew up this year in his 4th full season. 52 goals and 93 points, medium franchise potential. So I guess that's just about it, my friends. The question for all of you is, what's up with the lineup? And the subsection of those questions are, what's up with Brad Lambert? Maybe Greenway gets promoted, Costin gets promoted, but he did so well. Hyman, Taves, are they staying on the 4th line? Defense pairs, Botter wasn't great, not sure about him. Goaltending, who's starting between the pipes, not sure. And scratched, do we see any Duclair or Crosby action early? / if we don't see them early, when do we see them? When should we pull the trigger on bringing them in? Any players down in the minors we should bring up? Maybe Kaut, Crooks, Rodin, Chekovich. Nordquist grew to a 76. That's nice. Defense, do we maybe call up Korea, Anderson, Norlander? Lots of options for us. Overall wise, even Bemstrom's there. A lot of 79s, a lot of good players in Iowa. So that is all for you to ponder, and let me know in the YouTube comments and down in the Discord server as well. Iowa 58-11-4. Damien Giroux, what a tank out there. He wants to make a push for the NHL maybe. I could see Damien Giroux being a fourth line center next year. You never know. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, my friends. If you are enjoying the series, give it a like. Consider subscribing as well, because you'll be made aware of all the uploads on the channel, as well as the upcoming newest series on the channel, which will be an NHL 07 Dynasty mode. That is going to be a blast. So if you haven't already, make sure you go to the YouTube page here, go to the community panel, and look at the poll for voting on what team you would like to see for the NHL 07 Dynasty mode. It's going to be an absolute blast. The PS2 is hooked up. The audio, the video, the image quality is definitely not, you know, super crisp 1080p, but we'll work with what we can. We'll try to have some fun, and the first step is voting on what team we're going to do. So I look forward to seeing you there. All the links for everything else you need are in the description, such as the Twitch channel with streams on Monday and Thursday, and more often coming up here in the summer, and the Discord server where you can connect with the entire team. So thank you so much for watching once again, and I look forward to seeing you in the playoffs for year number 7, where we will look to get another cup that we haven't tasted since all the way back in year number 1.